Good afternoon and welcome back to Osijek for our next final. We're back into the individual competitions and the start of the junior programme over the next week or so. This is our first junior final and it's the 50-metre rifle, 3 positions men's junior final. Slovakia victorious earlier on today with the gold medal in the 50-metre rifle prone duet. And now local time here in Osijek, just gone 3:20. So this final due to start at 3:30 this afternoon. Then at 5:30 we have the 50-metre rifle 3-position women's junior final. So athletes already out on the field of play. It's looking great. I do love the colour. There's something about this blue. It's just easy on the eye. Now the temperature in here is quite hot. That's purely because we're in a huge temporary marquee. As I said, all this has been constructed to accommodate the 50-metre competitions. But considering the heat outside, which is absolutely lovely by the way, I'm not complaining about that at all. The Croatian sun is looking great and clear blue skies outside. It's about 27 degrees and of course then that's filtering through into the finals hall here. So 45 shots unless we go to a shoot-off, and 5.6 calibre, 10.4 millimetres is the 10 ring. And the maximum weight of the rifles in this one up to 8 kilos. We will begin in the kneeling position, then we have a 7-minute changeover when we go to prone. That's after 3 series of 5 shots in the kneeling position. Then we have another 3 series of 5 shots in the prone position, and then a 9-minute changeover to go to standing, and there's just 2 series in the standing. So that's how it finished in qualification. Patrick Ettner of Austria at the top by 5 shots. 5.591, and Victor Sidek of Poland 5.86, and Ferenc Czurok on 5.81. So once then we have the 2 series in the standing position, that'll take us to 40 shots, and then we have single shots right the way through to decide the medals. Differences in this one is that once we get to 40 shots, we will say goodbye to 8th and 7th place. Then there are eliminations after each single shot, so it starts to come thick and fast. My name is Rory McAllister. I'm your commentator for this final. Thank you very much for joining us on the YouTube ESC video stream. Do like and subscribe to the channel. That way you get notifications of all our finals as and when they come through to your phone, tablet or computer. There's Mr. Jaja Davidovic, who is one of the vice presidents of the European Shooting Confederation. And I think just proof that he's once held a rifle a few times. So if you have just joined us, then welcome along. We're about to get going with the 50-metre rifle 3-position men junior final at the European Championships in Croatia, in the heart of Osijek, this wonderful city. And just at the beginning of our programme there, the drone shots looking around Osijek itself. It does look great from the air. The River Drava going right the way through the heart of the city. And it's the 4th biggest city in Croatia. And so far, the only real city I've been to here. I flew into Zagreb Airport, but it was so late at night each time, both last year and this year. And the schedules just haven't had time to go and have a look round, but I will do at some point. So there's the 30-second reminder from our Chief Range Officer, who once again is Petar Plavčić of Croatia. So this presentation, which now requires the athletes to turn and face spectators but stay in position.
Point A, representing Norway,
So Ervan Trundsen of Norway, 18 years old, is first to be introduced. And next on firing point B from Poland, it's Michał Chojnowski, 21 years old. And Patrick Entner, 19 years old from Austria, is next on firing point C. And Pontus Kalin, a real character, and very popular as well, 20 years old, representing Sweden. And Viktor Sajdak of Poland is next, the second Polish athlete so far in this final. And Ferenc Turek of Hungary is next on firing point F.
on firing point G, representing France,
Florent Pomar of France.
and on firing point H, representing Poland, Jakub Golishek.
And finally, 18-year-old Jakub Golishek of Poland, the third Polish athlete in this final.
Jury in charge of this final is Patryk Brzezinski from Poland,
And Patryk Brzezinski of Poland is our jury member in charge.
and the chief range officer for this final is Mr. Petar Placic from Croatia.
And Petar Placic of Croatia once again is our chief range officer. So take your positions, he says. And the athletes do just that. So we've got 3 series of 5 in the kneeling position. And then a 7-minute changeover when we switch to prone. It's often around that sort of time in the middle prone series where the final starts to take shape. Some of the higher scores go in with more stability in the prone position. And we'll just see how this unfolds in front of us. These are the stars of the future. Many of them already with so many medals in their careers so far. But it's always fascinating, I think, watching the junior finals and then come another 3, 4, 5 years, seeing which of those names are still making the finals. So there's no restriction on barrel length in this one. Just looking at Ervan Trundsen's small bore rifle just closest to us. As you can see, next along is Michał Chojnowski's, not quite as long with the barrel. So 200 seconds has been loaded to the clock and it's ticking away. So if you have just joined us, welcome along. Do let us know where you're watching from around the world. Thanks for joining us on the ESC video stream. Do like and subscribe to the channel. That way you get notifications of our live broadcasts. You can also watch any of the finals back at any point. So 10.9 is the highest individual shot. We've had one from Golishek of Poland. Second shot, 10.9. And in the kneeling position, like any of the positions in 3P, it's just those minimal body movements, breath control, and certainly controlling the pulse too, as much as possible. And just getting into the exact position where you feel comfortable. See, this is completely different to qualification. Shooting 3P there is shooting into the outdoors. And this temporary facility, therefore, doesn't have any wind. So nice to see the finals hall is packed. It's almost standing room only. So encouraging to see so many people here loving the shooting sport and loving this 3P final. So Toruk to take his final shot. And here's Florent Pomar also to take his final shot. And both now have done so with a minute to go on the clock. So that's the first series of 5 done. Let's see who's at the top of the scoreboard. Sometimes it can be an indication as to how the actual final will develop, but with a series of 51.7, that's pretty good going from Tunsen of Norway. 18 years old, leading the way, and already a gap of 0.9. That's a sizable gap over Victor Seidek, even at this stage. Some of the other differences further down the scoreboard, not as wide. So here we go with the second series already, racing on through this 3P final. This is the second series of 5 shots in the kneeling position. So just keeping an eye on some of Tunsen's shooting. First 2 shots pretty decent, clustered together. That last shot 10.2, just off to the left of the centre of the target. Meanwhile, Hanofsky with a 10.7. And Toruk also with a 10.7 on his last shot. 10.9 from Etna. Terrific shooting. And that's going to help because Patrick Entner found himself towards the lower end of the scoreboard. Follows that 10.9 with a 10.3. So you can see the straps as well there being used, just around the arm. Just to kind of help in the kneeling position. The prone straps on the back, they'll come into effect as and when the suits are adjusted for the prone position. The suits all have zips, and you can see the footrest there as well. So has there been a change at the top? Trunsen of Norway was leading the competition. There was a gap of 0.9. And that's been eclipsed because Victor Seidak has now joined Trunsen at the top on 101.6. So they're tied for the lead. Just 0.2 in front of Florent Pomar. And Jakub Goleszek is now in 4th place, 1.6 behind, and then hardly anything in it at all between 5th and 8th place, with Entner and Turuk both tied for 5th place. So the final series now in the kneeling position in this 3-position men junior final. Yes, you're on camera. Cracking 10.8 shot from Ferenc Turuk. Extremely fit man is Turuk. He looks after himself as well, eats and works out very hard. Again, fitness really does come into it, particularly in a long, grueling final like today, and of course a long day with qualification. And out there in the heat, shooting in a 3P final when you know it's going to be at least 50 minutes long. It's not only the physical endurance, but also the mental battle as well, to keep your concentration focused on what you're doing. So that's the third series completed, and Hanowski with a 10.9 at the end as well for the final shot. And a great way to finish the kneeling position. And just a few changes on the scoreboard, not too much though. It's still Victor Sidek, who now is the clear leader, 151.8, with a 0.2 difference between himself and Tunsen. And then Florian Pomar on 151.4, just 0.2 behind, with Jakub Goleszek, who's in fourth place. Hanowski with that 10.9, what a way to finish on 150.7. Entner just 0.1 behind, Turuk just 0.4 behind, and then Pontus Kalin with a bit of work to do. He's the only one that hasn't got to 150 or more. So now the 7-minute changeover, already almost a minute gone. And you think it's a long time, but by the time you've got the multi-tool out, the Allen key, you've made the adjustments to the rifle, you'll see change in the back of the butt, and certainly moving the position as well. And the cheek plate as well. And adjustments to the sights as well, because your body is in a different position. So you can see how customizable these rifles are and how interchangeable they are. It's fascinating, really. Such a technical piece of equipment. Just as someone that's quite into my tech, you know, they're just beautiful to look at. And the Norwegians making themselves known.
What about French people in the audience?
A bit of a half-hearted cheer from the French, but I'm sure they'll make more noise later.
Okay, most of them are shooting there, I guess. What about Austrians? Any Austrians in the audience? Exactly, that's how you cheer. What about Hungarians? Our neighbors, there's a lot of them, yes. And Swedish people in the audience? Anybody?
And finally the Swedish make some noise after being enticed to do so by the announcer.
And so that they would do better in these matches. So this is men junior finals. These are young shooters. And this is really
So you can see that now some of the adjustments are being made, and you can see Pontus Kalin there with the strap just around his hand as you get into prone. This is where the athletes have the most stability. And once they've made not only the adjustments to their suits, but also the rifles as well, they're very then keen to get down onto the mat and take some practice shots. And just make sure that they don't peak too early and come out with the decent shots when it's actually competition time rather than just preparation and sighting. This is where for a lot of athletes as well, it's all meticulously rehearsed so that everything is on time. So Evan Trunsen of Norway, there's that silver medal from the European Championships in Wrocław 2022. And Tonja Enjavik is the coach, or Big T, as she's called in the Norwegian team. And this is Michał Hanowski, 21 years old, from Poland. Got a silver medal at the World Championships in Prone as a junior. That was in Changwon 2023, and also a gold medalist in the European Championships Team Men Junior in Tallinn. I was there and commentator on that day. And Bogdan Kowalewicz is the coach for all three Polish athletes. This is 19-year-old Patrick Entner of Austria. Bronze medalist at the European Championships earlier this year in Hungary, in the individual and in the trio men. So that was just Bogdan Kowalewicz, just looking at the Polish coach. So back to Patrick Entner, and Sylvia Rachel is the coach. Next on firing point D after Patrick Entner is Pontus Kalin. There's that bronze medal I was just telling you about, and there is Sylvia Rachel. Here's 20-year-old Pontus Kalin of Sweden. I've known Pontus for many years. He's also been an announcer at other competitions that he's taken part in the Netherlands and Luxembourg and various other places in ISSF Junior World Cups. And Paul Lamb, the coach. He's a great character, is Pontus. Likes a laugh. Here's Victor Sidek, 19 years old, from Poland. Bogdan Kowalewicz is also his coach today. Well, there must have been a change, because that's Gregor Pietruk instead. And this is Ferenc Turuk, 21 years old, from Hungary. Gold medalist in the 3P Team Men Junior event in 2021 at the World Championships. And Oszyba Oblinski is the coach.
Stop.
And next is 20-year-old Frenchman Florent Pomar, gold medalist in the European Championships 3P, the Team Men Junior. And there's Didier Carpentier. And finally, Jakub Gulishek of Poland. And competed at the European Championships in Győr earlier this year. And this could be his first European Championship medal, should he get one today in the 3P. He's currently in 4th place. So we're underway now with the prone position. Florian Pomar with a 10.8. 10.9 is the highest individual score. Victor Sidek continue to lead this competition after we get to the end of the first series in prone. It's often around the middle series going into the last in prone that you really start to see the final take shape, and then of course things change once you get to the standing position because shots in the 9 start to come in. Saying that, there's shots in the 9 ring taking place in this prone position. Tulenson with a 10.8 follows that with a 9.6. Sidek meanwhile has a series total of 52.6. That's pretty impressive. Anywhere up near 53 and you'd be happy. Hanovsky and Pomar to finish. Pomar now the last to come in. Follows that 10.5 with a 10.6. And Victor Sidek of Poland continues to lead. 204.4 is now the leading total. And there's a couple of gaps of 0.8. That's how it was after kneeling, but we've had the 7-minute changeover now, and those two differences of 0.8 between second and third place. And Ferenc Turok for Hungary not quite yet at 200, 1.6 behind in 7th place. And Pontus Kalin in 8th, 1.0 behind Turok. So we're now into the second series of the prone position. 10.8 from Golishek, great shot. 10.8 from Etna. You'd expect this really in the prone position. Certainly my favourite phase of the 3P final, just because of the higher scores. And something I think synonymous with rifle shooting, where if you are in the lying down position, it's almost how rifle shooting should be. Then of course standing comes next, and the scores start to change an awful lot, and it really starts to unfold, and that's when it gets interesting. So Patrick Entner and Jakub Golishek have completed their second series of 5 in the prone position. .9 from Hojnowski on his last shot, very impressive indeed. So we're after 25 shots now, and the highest series total was 52.0, once again from the competition leader Victor Sidek. So increases that lead from 0.8 to 2.0. That's a decent lead at this stage. Some of those other differences quite close. Pomar and Tulenson tied for third. Pontus Kalin Now just 1.6 behind in 8th place.
For the next competition series, load. Start.
So now into the final series in the prone position, and this is where you've really got to make your scores count. Because you want to carry some of those scores on into the standing position, particularly if it's not your strong point. Some athletes just perform better in some positions than others. 10.9 from Hanofsky. There's a couple from him in this final so far. .9 from Trondsen of Norway. 2 shots to go. This is where you want to make them count. Get that total as high as you can going into the 9-minute changeover and into the standing position. Already most of the athletes inserted the safety flag into their rifle to signal that they're done and clear. And those are the rules. So stop, unload, says the Chief Range Officer. And now we have our 9-minute changeover and sighting time. And then we go into the standing position. There's only 2 series of 5 though in the standing position. And Jakub Golishek, who's just slowly but surely been steadily climbing up the scoreboard. Now 2.5 behind Victor Sidek, who still leads on 308.3. Pontus Kalin, the only athlete at the moment not quite on 300, just 0.1 away from that, and 2.8 behind in 8th place.
So I'm gonna go land by land, and you're gonna shout out as loud as you can. The loudest country gets to have cookies. Do we have a deal? Or do we have a deal? Yes. Okay. Let's see. Poland. Shout 1, 2, 3. Okay. Better than the last time.
So just while these adjustments go on, safety flags inserted, and our athletes, you can see, making changes and adjustments to their rifles as they move on then to the standing position. Meanwhile, in the background, the crowd are cheering for cookies. I don't think Austria wants any cookies. They're hardly cheering at all. Well, it seems Hungary are hungry. They're after the cookies by the sound of things.
One more time. There's a tie between France, Norway, Hungary. First, we'll go other way around. Hungary on 3. 1, 2, 3, go!
from the Norwegians, whereas the Hungarians just sound like they're charging.
1, 2, 3, go!
More of a scream there.
But I just want to see Norway here, Norway and Hungary one more time. Okay, Norway on 3. 1, 2, 3, go! Okay. And Hungary on 3. 1, 2, 3, go!
Well, I think the Hungarians certainly have won that cheering contest by the sounds of things.
You get the cookies and you get your selfies with our mascot Kuna as soon as she arrives, okay? I'll be right up.
So the cookies have been settled. The Hungarian team have managed to bag those. Right, back to this 3P final then. Now that all the whooping and hollering has settled down, and we're just looking at Ferenc Turok, just making adjusted to the waist strap of his trousers, getting that nice and tight. He's about to go into the standing position, and you want the suit to help you as much as possible. And the way the shooters walk as well, they have to walk heel to toe, heel on the floor, roll it through to the toe. And there's the cookies being handed out. I'm just going to see if I can get any cookies here. I think some of the Hungary team are now handing me one up. Excellent. I've got to try these things. I've got to try these cookies now that people have been cheering so loud for them. Very nice.
Okay, you've heard it how Hungary does it. Now everybody do that, okay? Everybody will cheer like Hungary did.
And throughout this final, the heat has continued to rise as well. And that certainly will be affecting things. The athletes have their underlayers on. The suit itself, the more humidity, the more moist it gets, the stability goes down. And of course, when you're in the standing position, you're relying on your clothing to help you as much as possible. So Victor Sidek of Poland leads the competition at the moment. A total of 308.3. And he's on firing point E. And Thunsen, who had an early lead in this final, is just outside the medal places as it stands in 4th place. Some very impressive shots, some a little bit more wayward. So Michał Wojnowski, who's hit a couple of 10.9s in this final, has been pretty impressive. You can see shot 24 and shot 27. Those were those 10.9s. Well, Well, some of those stickers really are from yesteryear, aren't they? Going back as far as Munich 2006. Patrick Entner, 19 years old, one of the youngest in this final. And some fairly consistent shooting in and around the 10 zone. That was that shot 21, shot 25 that were higher. And that's at least that kept Entner off the bottom of the scoreboard.
Seconds. Stop.
So a very high shot from Viktor Sidek, 10.8 in the standing position. That's very impressive indeed. And some shots creeping into the 9s. There's that shot in the 8 ring from Viktor Sidek on his first shot in this standing series. But there's only 2 series in the standing shot. Again, it's another great shot from Winovski. And he just keeps moving on up the scoreboard. Did say a second ago, if Winovski keeps shooting the way he is, then he could even be challenging for the lead. That's a great shot, 10.8 at this stage of a 3P final in the standing position. Because there's only those 2 series, so you've only really got 2 goes at it. 10.7 from Turek. And Entner with a 10.6. .9 from Golishek, 7.4 from Turek. But Winovski is right up there and is only 0.2 behind, has caught up so much. Some great shooting from the 21-year-old Pole.
Stop.
And Polmar is last to finish on that 10.1. So Sidek's still leading, but it's the narrowest of gaps now, only 0.2 between himself and Winovski. And Winovski's just shot a series of 51.8, which in the standing position at this phase of a 3P final is a really decent series when you consider that even in the kneeling position, his last series was 51.2. So to now be 0.2 behind, Hojnowski could very well be leading this competition after this next series of 5 shots. .8 from Jakub Goleszek, and here's Kuna, our Martin mascot, getting things going. .8 from Tunsen, great shot. Sidek, the competition leader, last shot was a 10.5. And some shots creeping into the 8 ring as well, you'd expect that. It just continues to get hotter and hotter in here. And that's a terrific shot from Patrick Entner, much to the delight of the Austrian crowd. And Hojnowski also with that 10.5 means he's taken the lead. He's now on 386.5. Sidek with that 9.3, a painful shot. So the 2 Polish athletes switch over. Second becomes first and first becomes second. Meanwhile, Patrick Entner just moved up to the bronze medal position. So just Pomar now to complete for France. Last shot was a 10. And will it still be Hojnowski leading? It's looking likely. He's 1.2 in front. So the 2 Poles have switched round. And Victor Sidek now moves down to second, and Patrick Entner is up to third. Meanwhile, Jakub Goleszek, some great shooting to move up to fourth. So depending on which way it goes, it could even be a Polish 1-2 perhaps. Meanwhile, we have our first eliminations from this final after 40 shots. So Ferenc Turuk of Hungary leaves the final, and Pontus Kalin, representing Sweden, leaves in 7th place. And now the eliminations come after every single shot. Right up to shot 45, unless we go to shoes off. So Hojnowski at the top, 1.2 in front. Patrick Entner, meanwhile, 2.5 behind in 3rd place. Entner with a terrific shot, 10.5. Goleszek with a 7.1. And it means Goleszek, representing Poland, will now leave the final in 6th place.
And the 6th place.
That 7.1 really hasn't helped. He finished 1.9 behind Florent Pomar.
For the next competition shot, long. Start.
So Florent Pomar is 1.0 behind in 5th place, has a gap to make up to Trunsen, who's in 4th. So who will be leaving this final next after the next individual shot? Great shot from Sidek, 10.5. And our next elimination now, representing France on firing point G, it's Florent Pomar, 21 years old. Sorry, 20 years old even. And a gold medalist in the European Championships in the 3P team at Men Junior. Leaves this final in 5th place. So then there were 4 who will miss out on the medals, who will move on to the medal stage. Entner with a 10.1, Victor Sidek with a 9.3, Janowski with a 10.1 and Trunsen with a 9.8. So Erven Trunsen of Norway, 18 years old, just misses out on a medal, 1.7 behind Patrick Entner, and Trunsen leaves in 4th place.
For the next competition shot, load. Start.
So here we go. The bronze medal is about to be decided. Patrick Entner is 1.0 behind Victor Sidek. 9.9 from Sidek, 10.1 from Entner. So it's not enough to make up the difference, but it does mean it's Austria's first medal and it's bronze. And 19-year-old Patrick Entner delighted with a bronze medal here at the European Championships and gets a high five from Kuna, who's our mascot. Notice that Vladimir Lissin's been clapping along, keeping up with the rest of the crowd. And now the shot to decide gold. There's a 2.4 gap between Victor Sidek and Janowski. And Janowski's just shot so well, you have to say he deserves it. With a 10.5, he's managed to get there. It's another 2 medals for Poland because they have a gold and silver. What a performance from Michał Janowski, 21 years old from Poland, and shakes the hand of his teammate Victor Sidek. And there is the gold medalist. Final total of 457.1. And it's another medal for Poland. Victor Sidek, who led this final for so long, just was caught up in the standing phase of this final and then into the single shots with Michał Janowski. So here we have the official announcement. Patrick Entner of Austria being announced as the bronze medalist in the 50-metre rifle 3 positions men's junior final. Victor Sidek, 19 years old, is a silver medalist here at the European Shooting Championship. And Michal Hanowski shot so well in the standing phase, managed to catch up with Victor Sidek, and I think it's a well-deserved gold medal under the indoor heat here in Croatia. Well, we're back in about 1 hour's time for the 50-metre rifle three-position women's junior final. We'll see you in about 60 minutes. See you then.
And Hungarian winners of the cookies, Kuna is here at your disposal. You can get your selfies with her. Use your chance, all right?
Sok idegeskedés a főállás mögött, ez fáradt.